Hi, and welcome to Cye's Exposure Management Platform. Cye is your cybersecurity partner to improve your cybersecurity posture and reduce your exposure to cyber threats on a continuous basis. This is an overview of the Maturity Management module of Cye's platform. Cye's Maturity Management module is designed to drive clear visibility of your current security maturity score mapped to the NIST CSF framework, enable you to set clear targets for your improvement plan, and create the most effective mitigation plans for you to track your progress, adjust plans, and report on a regular basis. Let me show you how Cye helps private equity firms measure and manage cyber risk across their entire portfolio. At the top of the dashboard, we are looking at a portfolio-level view across all portfolio companies. Using the filters at the top, we can quickly navigate between key metrics such as exposure, maturity, likelihood, and cost of breach. We can also group companies by business unit, industry sector, or company stage, and weight the portfolio view based on factors like financial equity, revenue, or operational fragility. This allows investment teams to instantly change how they analyze cyber risk across the portfolio. Exposure. We begin with exposure. Here, Cye measures the total technical attack surface across all portfolio companies. The quarterly trend line shows how exposure across the portfolio is evolving over time. Below that, each tile represents a portfolio company and shows how its exposure has changed since the previous quarter. The color indicators quickly highlight which companies are improving and which ones are increasing risk. Each tile is fully interactive, so by clicking on any portfolio company, we can immediately drill directly into that company's portal for a deeper analysis. Maturity. Next, we move to maturity. Cye evaluates each portfolio company against the NIST CSF 2.0 framework, providing a consistent measurement of cybersecurity capability across the entire portfolio. The quarterly trend shows how overall maturity is evolving, while the tile view highlights which portfolio companies are improving their security posture and which ones may require additional operational support. Likelihood. From there, we move into likelihood. Cye calculates the probability of a successful attack based on the technical exposures present within each portfolio company. The trend line shows how breach probability is changing over time across the portfolio, while the company tiles quickly identify which companies are driving the highest risk. Cost of breach. Finally, Cye translates all of this technical risk into financial impact with cost of breach. This shows the potential financial loss across the portfolio if a breach were to occur. The portfolio view allows investment teams to quickly see which companies represent the greatest financial risk and where mitigation efforts will have the largest financial impact. Because every portfolio company is clickable and the dashboard can be filtered and regrouped instantly, Cye gives private equity firms a powerful way to monitor cyber risk across their entire portfolio, while also allowing them to drill directly into any company for deeper investigation. This screen represents the maturity assessment dashboard within the Cye platform. Cye uses the NIST Cybersecurity Framework version 2.0 as the primary framework for measuring and managing cybersecurity maturity. We start on this dashboard view because it provides a complete, high-level picture of maturity across all 6 NIST functions. At the top, you can see your overall organizational maturity score. This score reflects where you currently stand across the framework based on the assessment responses. Alongside that, you can see the industry benchmark and the ability to define a target maturity level. This is where we focus the conversation on maturity target setting. The goal here is not just to understand where you are today, but to define where you want to be by the end of the assessment period. The target maturity represents that future end state. On the left side of the screen, maturity is broken down across the 6 core NIST functions: govern, identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. For each function, Cye shows the current maturity score, the industry benchmark, and the number of findings associated with that function. This immediately highlights strengths, weaknesses, and areas that are lagging behind peers. This comparison allows us to have a data-driven discussion about where to prioritize improvement efforts. You can quickly see which functions are below industry benchmarks and which areas may already be performing well. From here, we move into the target setting view. This is where you can easily define your desired maturity level for the organization and for individual functions if needed. The interface is designed to make this process simple and intuitive, allowing leadership to set realistic, measurable goals without complexity. Once the target maturity is defined, this becomes the agreed-upon end state for the period. Cye will use this target to guide prioritization, track progress over time, and support ongoing monitoring and reporting. Shortly, we will show how the platform helps you operationalize this target by identifying gaps, aligning remediation efforts, and measuring improvement. Now, let's move to the findings overview. Now that we have established maturity, reviewed findings, and seen how those findings map across frameworks, we transition into Cye AI. Cye AI is embedded directly into the platform and has full context of your environment. That includes your maturity scores, findings, exposure data, and mapped frameworks. This is not a generic chatbot. Cye AI operates on your data and your risk context. From this interface, users can ask natural language questions about their security posture. For example, we can ask which findings pose the biggest risk right now. Cye AI evaluates severity, probability, exposure paths, and maturity gaps to explain not just what is risky, but why it matters. We can also ask how our maturity compares to others in our industry. Cye AI uses industry benchmarks already embedded in the platform to provide context-driven answers that leadership can immediately understand. For executive and board use cases, Cye AI can generate a board-level overview of security posture, including key risks, trends, and areas of concern, and it can support live Q&A without requiring analysts to manually prepare slides or reports. From here, the most important step is action. Cye AI does not stop at insight. It directly supports mitigation planning by helping prioritize findings, recommending remediation approaches aligned to frameworks, and feeding into mitigation plan creation. This is where we move from understanding risk to actively reducing it. In the next step, we will transition into mitigation plans, where findings are converted into structured, trackable remediation plans that align to your target maturity and business priorities. Now that we have identified and prioritized findings, this video focuses on how Cye turns those findings into actionable mitigation plans. Each mitigation plan is directly tied back to one or more findings and mapped to the relevant NIST CSF functions and subcategories. This ensures that remediation efforts are not ad hoc, but fully traceable back to the original maturity assessment and target state. Within a mitigation plan, you can clearly see the scope of work, recommended remediation actions, ownership, and alignment to your defined target maturity. Plans can be created at the finding level or grouped across related issues to support more strategic remediation initiatives. Cye also maintains full framework alignment throughout this process. As mitigation actions are defined, they continue to map to additional standards and regulations, allowing a single remediation effort to support multiple compliance and governance objectives. As teams execute against these plans, Cye captures progress and updates maturity scores accordingly. This creates a continuous feedback loop where remediation activities directly influence maturity improvement and risk reduction over time. This brings us to the next step in the journey. In the next section, we will focus on how Cye tracks mitigation progress, measures improvement against targets, and supports reporting for executives, boards, and regulators. Reporting is critical because it provides a standardized, repeatable way to communicate security posture, progress, and risk reduction over time. Cye includes built-in report templates to ensure reporting is consistent across teams, business units, and reporting periods. This removes manual effort, reduces variability, and ensures stakeholders receive the same level of clarity every time. Reports generated in Cye are saved directly into your report library, creating a historical record of posture, findings, and progress. This supports audits, regulatory reviews, and executive briefings without the need to recreate reports or manually compile past reports. Additional capabilities such as scheduling and notifications allow reports to be generated and distributed automatically on a recurring basis. To populate a report, users simply select the report template and choose the scope. This can include maturity scores, findings, mitigation plans, progress against target maturity, and benchmark comparisons. Because reporting pulls directly from live platform data, reports always reflect the most current state of the environment. As reports are generated, Cye automatically incorporates updates from mitigation progress and maturity improvements. This ensures that reporting is not static, but continuously reflects how risk is being reduced over time. The result is a streamlined reporting process that supports operational teams, executive leadership, and board-level audiences with minimal overhead and maximum consistency.